is happening, but it takes about, I think they said about 12 to 18 months before everything is completely finalized. So it's going to be some time before we actually see some full-fledged things happening with that. All right. Let's see. Everyone, she may just be mad because she wasn't cast as Aunt May. I'm sorry. We were watching this movie. I'm sorry. If I was Spider-Man and Marissa Tomei was my aunt, it's a totally different movie. I wouldn't be out web slinging. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you would be, but in a different way.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I wouldn't be out web slinging.
Okay.
Not to mention chasing after. Dude, you got a perfectly hot aunt. I'm sorry. It's. Hello, Brazzers. No bazingas, no nothing? Come on.
Gross.
Hook me up.
Bazinga!
Thank you very much.
Or in the world of like other websites that really can't do those kinds of things, they'll say, not my aunt.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's your aunt.
Yes, you're right.
I love those corny porn ones.
Oh, yeah.
Not banging my stepsister.
Huh?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
are.
Anyway, moving on to a kind of a messed up bit of news here. It's a news bit about our beloved Stan Lee that had came out. Now, Stan Lee had just celebrated his 95th birthday.
Keep that going.
Keep it going, please. Keep it going. Anyway, so he just celebrated his 95th birthday. Of course, us in the nerd community are extremely stoked just to have Stan Lee with us and everything like that. Now, unfortunately, the day after his birthday, he had found that $300,000 was stolen from his bank account.
What?
$300,000 was stolen from his bank account. I went ahead and I read the article. And the feeling is it potentially might even be an inside job. The reason being is, one, very few people have access because it was an actual signed check with his name on it and everything like that. And you know, where you put memo for what the check is for. It said loan. The loan went out to one of the charity companies that he works with and everything like that. And it was written loan and signed by Stan Lee. So obviously the check was a forgery in terms of his signature. Now here's the things that lead them to. It's currently still being investigated, and it leads them to believe that it's an inside job. One, very few people have actual personal access to Stan Lee's bank account. There's not many. I think it's like less than 5 people that have access to his bank account. On top of that, when the company, the charity company that was called actually about it, and whoever picked up, which was like a high person of it, all they did was as soon as someone, whoever was on the phone with them, introduced who they were and stated what it was about, they immediately hung up. So, dude, how do you have the gall to, like? I mean, stealing is wrong, period.
Yeah.
But how do you have the gall to steal $300,000 from Stan Lee? And then on top of that, how do you think he's not going to notice that?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, yes, he's probably got a boatload of money, but you still notice $300,000 missing.
Exactly, especially when you're someone like Stan Lee, who is very charitable to begin with, and, you know,
it's not like he
keeps a close eye on these things.
I mean, it's not like you're multi-million rich and you're missing $20. You're not going to notice. You're probably not going to notice that. You're like, it looks a little weird, but I'm not sure for sure.
Yeah, seriously.
But $300,000, you're going to notice that. That's and everything like that. And all that, like, then again, it's written to the charity company he works with. So,
yeah.
So obviously, okay, this is where the money went. So obviously somebody connected with that and somebody connected with him is what did that.
Someone's trying to be slick.
And didn't do a very good job on it.
Not at all.
Like, so to the person who stole from Stan Lee, we say,
go fuck yourself.
What the fuck?
The first one for the year.
What the fuck?
And we're going to make it a double whammy. Okay, like, so you put loan to the actual company and everything like that, so it was immediately traceable. Again.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
And to mark the new year, that's the first time we've ever had a double what the fuck in one story.
Because that's just dumb. It's not like Stan is some kind of senile old man. He's very, still. I lost track of my thoughts.
Apparently, you're not what he is.
Yes, exactly. Oh God, what was it? That was.
The word.
Yeah.
He's still in charge of all of his faculties.
I guess so. Yeah, that's some sort of where I was going.
That's where
with
you were
that.
going with it. But apparently, obviously, you're not. Go
Shut
home,
up.
go home, Foxy. You're drunk.
I am home.
But I'm not
I'm
drunk.
not drunk.
Oh my God! So yeah, like I mean, I read that I couldn't. I was like, really? Like, I mean, I know we covered the story, but it's still like dumbfounding on multiple levels. Okay, again, it's dumbfounding that somebody had the audacity to do that to Stan Lee.
Especially if you were someone close to him, no less.
But that's the thing too. Like, and that's the other thing though. Like, you're close to him, which makes it really fucked up. And then you put where the money went.
Coherent.
Coherent. There's
Thank
the
you,
word.
Danielle.
There you go. Hey,
And
Brad Ryder
still
made
has
it. All right.
his wits about him and stuff.
Hey, Brad, just a quick shout out to you and your wife. You might want to tell your wife to stay tuned because towards the end of the show, I'm actually going to announce something coming in 2018 that she's going to be very happy about, and I know she will be. So, but like, yeah, like, it's just messed up on so many levels. Like, I can't.
Somebody else also just turned 95 this week. I believe it was Betty White. I believe it was Betty
Go, Betty.
White.
Go, Betty. That's probably one of the best gifts I sent you this week, too. Was Betty White dabbing.
Yeah, seriously.
Because I remember you going, that's just great. You're like, yeah,
woman.
that's great. All right. Well, in a skosh of wrestling news. For those of you still recovering from New Japan Pro Wrestling's Wrestle Kingdom, which is their biggest show of the year and everything like that. And obviously for those of you that got, because I know a lot of people were saying they got lucky, they got to see it because of the snow day, they got to stay home. But for those of you that muscled through, because remember there is a huge time gap between the United States and Japan, people had to start tuning in. I think it was like between 2, 3 o'clock in the morning for this 6-hour show.
That's dedication.
Of good wrestling.
Where did they watch it on? I didn't
It was all over Facebook. People were doing live feeds and everything like that.
wish
There
I'd
are
known
some.
that.
There are some matches. Yeah, I mean, I watched. I actually caught the last half of. By the time I woke up, let's put it this way. By the time I woke up, I caught the last half of Jericho versus Omega as well as the main event. And again, that was by the time I woke up at like 5:30 in the morning. So you figure this has already been going on for hours prior to that. And it's hard to put that into scope because we're stuck in our time. But you forget how far behind on time they are. So you're thinking, man, these people are sitting there at 5:30 in the morning. No, they're not. It's a different time over there and everything like that. But yeah, but a lot of people were like, this is the greatest thing ever. It's a snow day, and I'm in, and I actually got to watch Wrestle Kingdom and everything. So yeah, but anyway, for those of you, still feeling the hype after that New Japan and everything like that, I mean, I'd be kind of remiss not to say how much New Japan is picking up a lot of North American steam. They've got their shirts that are selling tremendously and selling out left and right at the Hot Topic stores. Chris Jericho's Alpha Club shirts have now outsold rather quickly the Bullet Club shirts. Not to mention they do have New Japan shirts and everything. They've quietly reopened their headquarters in California and everything like that. Now, I mean, all of this stuff is just good for you as a fan, but it's like, man, how do I get something somewhat tangible out of this? Well, if you're a New Japan fan and you're a gamer, have I got news for you. The day before Wrestle Kingdom, they had their big fan fest. Now, if you're a wrestling fan and a gamer, you are no stranger to Fire Pro Wrestling. Fire Pro Wrestling encompasses pretty much all the companies that are around and all the wrestlers with, changing names and logos and everything like that. Well, New Japan announced at FanFest, because we knew there was another Fire Pro Wrestling coming to PS4 that we talked about last year. New Japan made it known that they are, in fact, working with Fire Pro Wrestling, and for the first time ever, all wrestlers and logos will be included in the next Fire Pro Wrestling game on PlayStation 4.
Sweet.
So
That's awesome.
that's actually that's huge.
Oh, yeah.
And then on top of that, and for you gamers, I know some of you gamers have mentioned you love Yakuza, the Yakuza game series, and Yakuza 6 is on its way as well as of March 20th. Well, for those of you looking to get that, I actually do have this article if you scroll through our feed if you want to get it early and everything like that and write these down. But Yakuza obviously involves the Japanese mafia and everything like that. Well, there's three. There's in the whole gang play war, or whatever you want to call it. There's 3 special guest gang members in the enemy gang that you could have. It's Okada, as well as 2 other well-known New Japan wrestlers that are a part of one of the Yakuza crews, and you can have them downloaded into your game. If you scroll through our feed, you'll see it for Yakuza 6 there, and the codes are in fact listed on our page, so you can write those down, have those primed and ready for when you get your copy of Yakuza 6. I mean, it's just amazing, like, you know, how they had such a lull. I know you're not a big wrestling talker person, but it's more so just like the amazement. It's like how they had such a lull. And then, like, now how they're starting to become a legitimate, viable competitor for WWE out of left field. Because, you know, by default, I guess people would have automatically bumped Ring of Honor as the number 2. But now New Japan's popularity and the amount of money that they're making and their stuff going everywhere, I would say they're actually technically the number 2 right now, which is insane. Yeah. Like an international company is technically the number 2 brand right now. And not to mention the biggest brand. I mean, it's the biggest brand in Japan of all time. But still, though, it's just amazing. But again, if you're clamoring for more New Japan and more to have on your own, stay tuned for those 2 games. And there's John. Doug just went crazy for all of that. All right. Now.
Hi, Kasumi.
Now.
Cat butt.
For this trio here that got sucked into this, I want to say about 10 years ago, we finally have some Cloverfield news again.
Yay!
Because we got suckered into the whole conspiracy thing. We did the websites and everything when the first one was coming out. Oh, we did everything. We were on all the sites. We were doing all the investigatory stuff and everything like that. Is it
investigatory?
No, I'm trying to say it the way they said it in Zoolander. Investigatory. How did he say it in Zoolander? I forgot. I can't remember. Anyway, point is, obviously there was a lot of backups because Cloverfield was supposed to come out early this year. And J.J. Abrams has backed it up twice.
He's a busy man.
Well, I have some bittersweet news for you. There is finally an official release date for Cloverfield because everybody's like, okay, if it's coming out so soon, where's the, are we going to get the same, big, blitz that we had with the first one? Because the second one really didn't have that.
No. Yeah.
But are we going to get that same, interaction, conspiracy bliss on thing and all the big marketing? Because rumor has it this one is going to have that. It's rumored that it's going to have all of that elements again.
Oh, yes.
And everything. So they're like, well, when is this happening? We're not seeing any advertisements. We're not seeing any commercials. We're not seeing any teasers. What's going on? Well, again, I have an official date, but unfortunately the Cloverfield movie has been backed up for a 3rd time.
Okay.
But not by much. The official release date for Cloverfield, and this is all they're calling it Cloverfield, is actually April 20th of this year.
Oh. Okay. Oh, God, it's on 420?
420. Oh,
shit.
That's harsh.
That is harsh. Wow.
I'm not doing that, but...
Oh, who's gonna brave watching Cloverfield on 420 and is an active advocate of it?
Not only that, what if it's like in the Handycam?
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
We have to talk to Andrew and make him a correspondent for it. Because Andrew, let's face it, Andrew's going to, yes.
We could ask Ron to do that.
Well, we can ask Ron, too, yeah. But if anybody's willing to, like, maybe video report it or something like that, that'd be great. We'll accept footage.
Because I know watching Cloverfield 1 from the Handycam footage made me so nauseous.
Yeah. Well, Brad said he didn't care for the first one, but he really liked the second one.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I absolutely loved the first one, but that's also my old school monster movie mentality and, all that. So,
but again, but like now with this backup, it's got fans clamoring and happy again because now it's like, okay, granted it's gotten backed up again, but at least now there is time for that media blitz. There is time to potentially do what they did with the first movie.
And they can do so much more when it comes to, like, internet buzz with the inclusions of Facebook and Twitter or even Snapchat.
Because remember when the first one came out, like...
It was just websites.
Facebook was still early.
Very early.
Facebook was still in its early... I mean, we were still in the but my top 10s and top 5s, which I missed. Facebook, bring those back. My top 5s and top 10s, those were great.